Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Leeds View podcast for this week's pod at the beginning of an international break that hopefully won't last too long, and we'll have mixed feelings for everyone involved in this one tonight. Me and Jerry get to watch Ireland be probably eliminated from World Cup qualifiers, and Paul will get to see England likely qualify for the World Cup. So we'll have mixed feelings come the end of this, and then we're back into real football, which is what we're really looking forward to as well. Bit of stuff to get stuck into before we get into it with the lads tonight. Just want to make everyone aware who is watching tonight. And in case you're not aware, we have launched the Leeds View website. So the leedsview.ie is now available. We've got some written content from myself and Joe Blackburn up there, as well as basically all of the video content that we make. All of our merch as well, along with the club merch that we support, and all of our audio stuff as well is all linked there. If you want to check that out, you can. And the big QR code that's currently over my face will bring you to this page. We've been nominated for 2 awards in the Football Content Awards, the Best Podcast in the Premier League category and the Best Club Creator in the Premier League category as well. So if you want to support us with that, there's a couple of days left in the voting before that finishes and wraps up, and we'll know then if we're in the shortlist to go to Elland Road in November for the actual awards night. So we'll find out then. Fingers crossed on that. So if you want to do that, you can. The QR code is right there. If you want to scan that, it'll bring you right to that. But tonight we got a bit of stuff to get stuck into. We're going to talk about the changes to Elland Road and what's going on behind the scenes there as well. We're going to get into some defensive stability statistics. Paul's showing us the latest set of Opta ones, as well as just the eye test and how good Leeds have been defensively so far this season, as well as Sean Longstaff topping a poll, which is really interesting what he's been doing in midfield for Leeds. And then just some of the international comments around Yakubial and now Tanaka possibly not being overly happy, but pragmatically not overly happy, if that makes sense at this point. But we'll check in with the lads and see how they're getting on. Jerry, how are you? How's things?
Not bad, yeah. Disappointed with the result on Saturday, but not but happy with the performance. We're not far off it, are we? Just a bit of luck, and we should should take more points out of it. But a great atmosphere on a very wet day, very blustery day, and yeah, it's Premier League. Yeah, the teams, you can see the quality in their teams. Look at their bench, everything else, but I think all these games so far, the word is compete. We've been competing in everything. Need to convert it into points now, but we ain't far off. So I'm quite pleased at the moment.
Yeah, we're competing's the word. We definitely don't look like we don't belong in this division, Paul. But how are you keeping anyone? What are your thoughts on the weekend?
Well, I'm basically a big deal now, so I'm
you're on
surprised.
the television. Sorry, you're on TNT Sport.
To be fair to you, I'm more upset at the fact that there wasn't some big fanfare, ticker tape. So I wore a bright top.
More chips fired up.
I know. No, I'm good. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm very good. Same as Jerry. Disappointed with Saturday. I went to the game. I thought we played well. I thought we. I think the thing that cost us was naivety more than anything in that actual game itself. But yeah, we now move into the international break, and it feels like the death knell for us content creators when the international break comes on, because it's just. Yeah, whatever this is. Were we on the 8th international break so far this season? It feels like it's just nuts. But other than that, I'm well. I'm keeping well. Family's good, so I can't complain about anything whatsoever at all. I woke up this morning, the sun was shining, so on that basis, I'm happy.
Yeah, best Yorkshire extra game saying, I'm glad Leeds tops don't look like that one that Paul's wearing. Where's it from, Paul?
The team is called Hearts of Oak. They are Ghanaian, and they are a First Division Ghanaian team. I got this from mysteryfootballshirts.com. I get one every now and then just to see what I get, and I love it. It's got a touch of the Romanian flag to it a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, or David Seaman's old goalkeeper jersey for England way back in the day.
But it's just, it's very touchy. It's one of them tops that if I did get warm in it running around, it'd stick to you. Like the Castori wet tops that they do specifically for the men's team. It just, they're not great, but I like it. I like a bit of bright colours and stuff. I've got some decent ones. So they were. If anybody wants to know, they were established in 1911, so they've been around for a little while. Couldn't tell you anything about how they're doing in the league or anything. I just know that they make nice shirts, so I'm happy with this one.
Always
that looks like
important
Cork
to wear
City
short
badge.
The what?
I need crib notes. I need crib notes next to me next time. And
if you're going to wear something that's a talking point, you possibly should do a bit of homework on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, true. All right, fair enough. Yeah. There we go.
4 shirts in there, really, isn't there? There is definitely 4 shirts.
Dave Webber was a member of the channel for 25 months, which is absolutely nuts, Dave. You must have been one of the very first members to the channel, but thanks very much for getting involved with that. Members perks, you get slight discounts on stuff every now and then, as well as the Sunday Sessions podcast in video form thrown in for you guys as well. So that's there for them. Anyway, let's crack on. Jay, before we get into this, the other stuff we want to talk about, let's just go back and talk about the Spurs game a little bit. Really, really good performance by Leeds. Yeah. Missing chances again, which you hope won't catch up with us and be our undoing. And I know I have a tendency to nitpick at the things I think we should do better rather than celebrate the things that we've naturally done well. But a very competitive performance, put it up to Spurs, got back level with them, arguably could have gone in front a couple of times as well. Very unlucky for Joe Rodon not to score as well. But finding a rhythm in this division very easily, and we've got a run of games coming out after the international break that you would say are far more favourable. Have to go and win them, but far more favourable than the ones that we've had coming into the international break.
Yeah, it's my old 4 points from 3 games. And when I looked at these, this is the next batch, 3 games. I thought, well, Tottenham's probably good chance that would be the 0. But yeah, we are in these games. Somebody said there we have to stop saying we played well and convert into points. I think the chances we had, Calvert-Lewin's got to get that first one on target. I mean, he's doing everything right. The way he leads the line, the way he's getting players into play, but he's got to put that away. I mean, he gets a clear run on goal after the mistake.
7 touches.
Yeah, too many touches, and then you've got to get that on target. So, but the other chances we had, Joe Rodon, very great ball again, so unlucky, hitting the outside of the post. Longstaff had that shot just wide. I think Calvert-Lewin, the shot he had where he took a touch and the keeper makes a great save, and then Pirro coming on, a great save, and any one of those goes in, it changes the game. So I thought unlucky, and we are playing well against a team like Spurs. There was spells where Spurs were we were up against it, but I'd say overall, I thought we deserved a draw, and I think a lot of spells we were the dominant team. And thankfully, Okafor put the right ball in the pitch. That would be so Leeds, where if he'd hit the inflatable ball that was rolling across the line. I thought they're going to disallow this here for some mad reason, that there's an object on the pitch. In fairness, that referee he was dreadful. He spoiled the whole. He killed the game, really. Somebody said in the second half, he's spoiling this game because it was a decent game. But Pascal unlucky with the deflections, but I think we'll talk about Bijal later coming in. But Pascal, we were saying off air, he does make the odd mistake, maybe not the right decisions, and he's been great so far. But whether we got to overlook him now and see do we bring in Bijal's another good months, and he's been brilliant. Unlucky with the second goal, he stumbles, and we were a bit naive the way we possibly defended those, but you can't blame Darlow for them. And overall, I think Stack. There's a question about Stack, not a big question, but he's dipped a bit. He started when we saw him in Dublin. He was fantastic, but he drifts in and out. He does some good stuff, and when Tanaka came on. Tanaka, I thought, was good, even in his proper position, and he was driving at the team. We need to talk about Bui Brandy. He's doing good stuff, but when he needs to win that ball sometimes, he's just that bit light, and I still think we need a better option. But he's given us all. No one can knock his endeavour and trying to get into the game. We just need, I think, Willie to get back and Dan James as options. Okafor, big unit for a winger. He's looking decent. I think he's coming good. Sometimes the decision making, he runs into areas. Maybe sometimes he needs to play the ball, but other times he's running and he excites you. So our top scorer now, and I think he's only better to come from him. So I mean that's the whole team. And Longstaff will talk about he's phenomenal. He really is. He's anybody who said I think I saw your post or your vid earlier today saying people were underwhelmed. I wasn't at the time. Yeah. I thought getting someone nearly 200 Premier League games. My next door neighbour's a Newcastle fan, and he told me, he said this guy will be brilliant for you. So, but we're still only 7 games in, so we're still sides settling down. You can see it settling down. Bogle excellent as well. Again, he's stepped up the pace. So generally, I can't slag anybody off really. Just the rain really. I'm glad I wasn't sitting in the front of the East stand. It was horrendous, wasn't it? And Tottenham, they're very Cockney, aren't they? Tottenham fans, just very cockney. Yeah, and but that was they'll be Spursy. It was okay, good day out, and I was half 12 kickoff. I had a night out in Leeds the night before. I went to a little pub called Grove. I don't know if you know, Paul. I met up with my lad. Very weird place. Had a band on and an eclectic mix of people from all walks of life, and it was some were there all day, some were coming from work, and we had about 7 pints of Guinness, and it was very enlightening, and we had some real good discussions about Leeds, and I wish I could remember them. So that was my weekend.
Eclectic is a very PC way of saying weird.
I solved it, but I forget. Yeah.
Before we get to you, Paul, just Paul's asking here. Saw Tanaka having a little whinge at lack of game. Not a whinge, and that should be clarified. We'll get to that a bit later on, but no, not a whinge at all. Players just commenting on it, being asked questions during international break, but we'll give you the detail on that a little bit later on. But no, not a whinge, and definitely not at this stage of the season. No one looking for a way out at this point. That should all be said. That's the context before we get into that later on. But yeah, there were some chats, but we'll get to that later on. Paul, what were your thoughts on the match and the referee in general?
The referee was useless. It's the inconsistency that annoys me more than anything because it spoils the game. Yeah. He let some absolute banging challenges go in the first half, and I'm all for that. Tough, hard challenges. I want to see that from both sides. That's what I want to see from both sides. I want a nice, competitive, fair game, but firm at the same time as well. And then I don't know what happened in the second half. I don't know. Yes, I'm being slightly conspiracy theorist here, but I don't know if somebody went to go and have a word with him at half time or what happened. But every time a Spurs player fell over, they got a free kick, and it was just getting increasingly annoying as the half wore on. And there was the one where the ball hits the referee, and they have to do a comeback to get the ball and everything. But they would, but it was really weird the way that worked. It just didn't make any sense what he was doing, and he lost it a little bit. To be fair, I wasn't overly. The standard of refereeing is something that needs to be done, and it just annoys me. And look, at the end of the day, right at the very, very end of the game, that stamp on, I can't remember whose foot it was stamped. Was it Rodon's foot? Richarlison?
Oh, it was, yes, in the penalty area. Stroke was stood on.
Stroke, sorry. Soft? But it's a penalty.
I wouldn't have said so because there's a full foot on a foot and it's prevented his movement. He's fallen over and the ball's landed exactly where he was. So for me, I would have given it, but they've been given.
It's fine margins, and you take the loss, and it's not something to complain about. I'm more talking about the consistency. And I think when you look at it on the face of it, the fact that Spurs were time wasting, the fact that they were taking about 1.5 minutes to take a goal kick, the fact that they were taking nearly a minute over taking a throw in every single time, just tells you that we were playing okay. Yeah, there was a couple of just naivety, consistency in terms of mistakes that were actually made. For me, what was happening, particularly in the second half, I thought we should have won the midfield battle with having 3 in midfield. But what was happening was Ampadu was dropping back to make a 5 in defence, or a 4 with a 1 just in front with defence. But that was creating a little bit of space into midfield. And Simmons was constantly finding space in midfield, and he always had time to turn and run with the ball and then to make something happen. And he's exactly the type of player that we could do with that we don't have at this moment in time. Just that little gap, that little number 10, the fabled number 10 as we like to call it. But overall, I mean, Calvert-Lewin, I don't know what he did with the first one. We all said as soon as he got the first touch out of his feet, kick it, shoot, do it. And he didn't. He took a little bit longer to shoot, and he shouldn't have done. Cario makes a good save in the second half off of a shot from him. But he's got to start putting these away. His hold-up play, his general hold-up play, the knockdown for Aronson to take the shot was brilliant. The one for Peru as well was brilliant. I just need to see. He needs to start converting these chances for me. Yeah. And Jerry's touched on it. I think the goals that we concede, there's decisions that are being made that shouldn't be made, and that's the naivety in this league where you think you've got a bit more time than what you
don't
have, and you don't, and it causes all sorts of problems. But I'm happy with how we played. I'm happy with what happened in terms of our overall performance. Obviously, not happy with the result, but look, all of the teams that went up lost, so it is what it is.
Yeah, just to let everyone know as well, Leeds under-21s are playing in the Virtue Trophy tonight. They're currently 1-0 down to Fleetwood. It's Fleetwood's first team versus Leeds United's under-21s in that competition. So it's currently 1-0 down after, well, they conceded in 3 minutes, trying to get an equaliser now. But missing Harry Gray still. He's still out with a hip flexor issue. So we'll give you updates on that as we go through this. Yeah, disappointing in lots of ways, but also very positive in lots of ways as well. We've got, again, you want to see, there's a lot of people talk this week about Leeds points total and wins, and got 2 on the board already, and other teams that came up last year didn't get 2 wins until after Christmas. But you need to look at that next block of games and going, okay, you still need to go and win more than 2 games, or else you're getting into December in exactly the same position as the teams that came up last year were as well. So yeah, but again, I do think we're doing all the right things. I think the goals will come. If we weren't creating the chances or getting these opportunities, I'll be far more concerned than I am with missing them at this moment in time now. I'll change my tune on that later on in the season for still in the same position, but as of right now,
you'll change your tune every single game, Joe, in terms of that being. So you're pragmatic now because the emotion's not involved. It's different when you
review after the game, Paul. That wasn't pragmatic. I got called out on it again.
But
it's too emotional.
But you see, the thing is with that though, it's the emotions involved, and the player in you comes out, and the coach in you comes out as well. Mm-hmm. So because of that, that's why you're just like, oh, you just need to do this. Yeah. Bunch of idiots kind of thing. So it's just the emotional side of it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Thanks. Well, I'm glad you said that. That's the wrong one. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. We've got a bit of stuff to get stuck into. I'm going to start, Paul. We'll start with this. This is the defensive solidity where we're talking about the team, because this was something you wanted to talk about. Sean Longstaff has been named as the player with the most amount of tackles won in the Premier League so far this season, which is an incredible stat when you think about it. He's got 25 so far this season, Paul. But overall, Leeds in general are sitting very high in terms of defensive structure this season. You sent me this graph on the left-hand side. And again, to everyone who'll say it in the chat, it's a statistic, and ultimately they don't mean anything. Points mean what we're talking about. But in terms of just how Leeds are set up, it's worth having a little bit of a look at. So, Paul, I'll pass the mic to you. Talk us through this.
Appreciate that. Cheers. This is for just sort of showing how, from a Farker is in terms of changing in his pragmatic approach to how we now play in this league and adapting to what our position is in this league and what we expect from this league. So when you look at it, the one that is the most important statistic to look at is the far right column, which is BC, which is big chances. So these are big chances against us so far in the league. So we are sitting 4th out of everybody. And then when you look at it, the best 9 big chances we've conceded. And you look at like Nottingham Forest, they've conceded 22 overall. What this shows is that we are a very, very solid, difficult team to break down. Arsenal, I think we say this all the time, Arsenal is the absolute outlier, but it's not like we were massively turned over by Tottenham, because we weren't. Yeah. We lost by a narrow goal. And then you look at things like total shots that you people have faced. Look at Burnley, second from bottom, 131 shots they've faced.
I didn't actually look at that till right now. That's massive.
Yeah. So they faced 131 shots. Given only 20 of those are big chances, but you look at that and then look at how many shots we've faced overall. Ours is 75. Manchester City, 72. Yeah. Sunderland, 89, to give you examples as to where we sit in our defensive organisational structure. It's also important to point out, as somebody just said, I think Oliver's just pointed out, just literally, we've played 3 of the top 4 of the top 7 we've played so far this season. And that's what we have so far conceded. So from a structural point of view, we're doing absolutely fine. And it's just, again, we're all going to be doing this throughout the season. We're all going to be wanting to look at specific metrics and specific information and stats that to give us comfort as the season as the season kind of wears on and goes on. And for me, this is really important statistic. So we're conceding 1 point, whatever it is, 0.001 big chances per game at the moment to put us behind.
Take out the Arsenal game out of that.
It'd be
even
lower. We would nearly be top of the big chances conceded if it wasn't for the Arsenal game. But then you look at Arsenal and you look at how good Arsenal are at the moment in terms of from defensive structure and shots conceded overall. Even with
the goals conceded would be 6, Jerry. Without that, which again would be excellent, wouldn't it?
I suppose you look at Liverpool and Palace down there, and that I suppose that shows the weaknesses. We're not scoring enough of the chances, but still, it's an impressive. And as you said, the level of teams we've played, it's fair. It's a good point. Just need to turn it into real points, and we can see it ourselves, can't we?
The other interesting stat on that as well is shots that we've conceded on target. So shots where there's had to have been a save. So we're sitting at 25. And if you look at every other team that's in there, so Sunderland are sat at 29. We know Sunderland have had a similar start to us. And then you look at Burnley, have had 40. They've had 40 shots against them on target. So when you put us in line with everybody else that's in the league, that really shows that from a defensive structural point of view, and Farke should be credited for this. That he has completely changed his system in the way that he plays.
I will just very quickly counter Joe Blackburn's argument. This is a good argument against BL. Joe Blackburn should know that a defence is not just the 4 players in front of the goalkeeper. That's why this big guy's on the screen as well. The defence is how the entire side, including the midfield 3, defend as a unit. So not just the 1v1 stuff is the argument to bring BL in. That's the argument and the edge of the box defending shots. Because although we've pointed out we've only conceded 9 big chances, I think both the goals that we conceded the weekend wouldn't have been classified as big chances, but both ended up in the back of the net. So we still need to stop those shots from getting away in the first place. Jerry, what have your thoughts been on this big man beside the graph there so far this season? Again, I know he said it in the video today. There were people during the summer that went underwhelming signing because his second name is Longstaff and not De Silva. But what have your thoughts been on him so far this year?
As we say, he's been excellent. I think when his first start against Sheffield Wednesday, I think everybody wrote him off. I think could have wrote the whole team off that night. But since then, the last game, it was record stats, wasn't it? And he scored a goal as well, and he could have scored one. He was very unlucky on Saturday. He's one of these players who can go in for a tackle, a crunching tackle, and it gets the crowd going. And he's done it every game since he's got in the team. And he's, as I said, he's a Premiership player. And if he was a foreign player, we'd be hailing him, because he looks like a Scaldy lad from Newcastle. Where you think he's run of the mill, he's run of the mill player, but he's the proverbial one of the first names on the team sheet. You can't knock him. He's one of the mainstays, and as someone who can put a defensive performance in like that and can chip in with the odd goal. If you get 5 or 6 goals from Sean Longstaff this year, and on the back of that performance, I would say at this early stage he's our player of the season so far. I would put him in there. He's so vital, and he when he got the team together in the huddle after we conceded last week, he's a leader as well. It doesn't have to be the captain to be the leader, and we had, I think, sometimes the last few seasons we when we fell away, we hadn't maybe got those fighters in. You got Ampadu and Rodon, but I think he's another one as well who's gonna shake everybody and say, let's get going again. And I think a lot of those stats are down to him. And it was Joe that said there, the whole team defends, and it starts from the front. And I can't praise him highly enough. And as I said, I saw England assistant manager at Elland Road last week, and if he's looking at players, Sean Longstaff's as good as any midfielders. I would say has he played for England? Has he got any Irish ancestry? we could say no, couldn't we? We could do it.
At this stage, we take anybody.
His name's Sean, for goodness sake. Come on.
We're still waiting on Keenan Dewsbury Hall to pick up the phone and answer the call.
Why would he? Oh, God.
He went and got
Come
himself
on,
injured
Joe.
and suspended rather than come and play for Ireland. That tells you
Yeah,
where we are right now.
the Sammy
It's
Schmodics,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not Schmodics again,
Yeah, we'll
conveniently
talk
injured
about
when an
that.
international break
Yeah.
comes up. Yeah, I'm not impressed with him. But anyway, yeah, we'll move. Speaking of internationals, Paul, two players were interviewed this week while on international break. Yakubiol and Tanaka, both basically saying not overly happy they're not playing, but they understand the reasons why they're not playing, and they also understand where we are in the season and the fact that there's more games to come and they will get their opportunities. Both of them saying they're very, very confident that they will get them. I'll give you the direct quotes before you weighed in, but BR was asked about, and he said, "I'm certainly not happy with the current situation. There are always ups and downs. There's always slightly worse situations. You've got to get over this as a footballer. I'm sure my opportunities will come at Leeds, and I hope as soon as possible. But that certainly makes me much more eager for competitive games. And I'm sure that these two international matches will come in very handy, and I'll give my best as always." So again, understanding it, he's not on the team. There's good reasons. His own international manager backed Daniel Farke last week and the reasons he's not playing him.
Yeah.
But thoughts on BL first and foremost before we get to Elton?
It's absolutely fine. If I want players in my team that are hungry, that want to play, that are annoyed that they're not in the squad, that realise even though they're not in the squad, it's for the greater good, but it then gives them that motivation to try a little bit harder, to work a little bit harder, and to be ready when the opportunity comes and the opportunity arises for them to come in and do what they need to do. Look, at the end of the day, it's a £15 million centre back. We haven't just bought him to sit on the bench, but conversely, that's also given Strauch kick up the backside to up his game a little bit, which is all great. It's competition; it's what everybody wants, and to work a little bit harder. And he's proved his worth thus far. A couple of little things to one side over the last couple of games, but Biol will get his opportunity. He will absolutely get his opportunity, and I think he will take it with both hands and he'll run with it as well. But you get some people online that'll go, see, this is just a similar sort of situation to Ramazani. He's not one of Farke's boys, so he's not going to get. It isn't a case of that. It absolutely 100% isn't a case of that at all. It's what works best for the team at this moment in time. This isn't about individuals. This is about team. And he understands that, which is absolutely what you want. But you want him to be disappointed. See, it never bothers me when a player gets taken off, gets substituted, and throws his shirt down or he kicks a bottle or something because he's annoyed because he's been substituted. I want to see that. I want to see that hunger. Obviously, as long as it's not being disrespectful to anybody.
Within reason, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I want to see that hunger, desire. I want to see that, just that willingness to want to get onto the pitch. And for me, that's what he says in that interview is exactly what I want to hear from him.
Jerry, at the start of the season, we talked about Leeds needing depth in a squad, and you need players on the bench and in the wider 25-man squad that can put pressure on the starting 11. You can't have a situation where the 11 are guaranteed their starts. We saw that the last time we got relegated, there was no real competition for places. You could be brutal for 3 weeks in a row and essentially keep your position in the side, even if results weren't going our way. Pascal Struijk is absolutely, I've criticised him at the weekend. I'm not happy with his backing off of players. I want him to go and engage players more often. Outside of that, he's been very good this season. He's been part of this defensive structure that Leeds are doing so well with. He's in the team on merit and he's in the team on form. You don't drop players for that. And Yakubiol came in and was suspended, so he had to sit back and watch Struijk have his opportunity. But you want this. You want players breathing down each other's neck. You want serious competition if this team is to be successful this year.
Yeah, well, it's sliding doors moment. As you say, if he hadn't been suspended first game, Bijol would have been in. And Pascal came in, and he's been good. He's earned his place. And Tanaka was injured, so he has to win back the shirt, and that's the way it is. Whatever level of football you play at, whether it's Sunday League or right up to this, if players come in and are playing well, you can't drop them, and you have to earn that spot back or wait your chance. You remember last season when Gruev and Ampadu got injured successive games, and that was Tanaka and Joe. What was Joe's name? I can't remember his name now.
Rothwell.
Joe. That was the one. Yeah, I knew it began with R. They both come in, and everybody go, "Oh no!" And they excelled, and we had an issue then who's our best midfield, and that's what you want. I mean, we even have it with the goalkeeper, I suppose, because Perry came in and got injured, and Darlow's come in, and you think, well, you can't really drop Darlow at the moment on form. He's played well and he's done so. And you need that squad depth. And I don't want to see us changing 5-6 changes every game. That doesn't help it with team in our position. And there's other players like Sam Byron doesn't even make the bench now. No. And that's just the nature of the squad. And he'd still do a good job. So you have to have that depth, because throughout the season we see Dan James and Willie's injured. So you still got, and there'll be opportunities. Players come in, win their spot, and over the years in any team, there's been players who've come in by chance and all of a sudden excelled, and it's just the nature of the game and the luck of the draw sometimes. But Bijol will get his chance, and Tanaka, both of them may come in for the Burnley game. Who knows? I think they won't let anybody down. I'm very keen to see what Bijol's like, because he looks stern, he looks sinister, he looks Eastern European. Sorry, Eastern Europe, but he does. He's got that bit of a look about him, doesn't he?
Bricklayer hands.
He's been in the Stasi. I don't know. That's a long time ago. But yeah, he looks like he's a secret agent, and I think sinister. Yeah, he'll do a job. So it's exciting to see. It looks like a new player coming in. So as Paul says, players want to be hungry. You want to see them annoyed, but fight for it and don't sulk. And I don't think there's anybody sulking.
No.
And when you're away on international duty anyway, when you get among the local scribes, always stories come out when they talk to the players. Maybe they're a bit looser tongues or just misquoted. So it's not a major event, is it?
Yeah, there's wider context of it all. I mean, Tanaka, Jerry's done the same. He's been international duty with Japan this week, and he's basically asked, was he frustrated at the lack of game time? And he said, of course, on the basic premise, it's frustrating not to be playing in matches in the Premier League. But that's how the Premier League is. And no matter which team you look at, not just mine, every player on the bench and our team players that are not playing possess overwhelming quality. We're only 7 games in so far. I still have many challenges, but I also have a sense that I can do this. And I think that we need to perform. And when I get the chance, I know I can do it. So he's waiting as well. And he benefited last year, Jerry, from this situation as well. He came in when Gruev and Ampadu got injured. He got his chance. He came in and was phenomenal for the rest of the season for us. So he more than anybody else knows what this situation is like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's certainly showed his true colours, and again, an exciting prospect sitting on the bench. When he came on last week, he was stuck on the right for the last 5 minutes and it didn't go so well. But he drew. I noticed when he came on. The subs the other day were strange. It changed the whole shape of the team, but he was actually driving at their defense, and that was good to see. And probably Stack needs to do a bit more of that. It's in his game as well. But these two are fighting for the places. You would say that place is up for grabs now. And if Stack goes on the bench, then again you've got a talented player. And sometimes players, they need to sit out the odd game, good or bad, or just to recharge the batteries or any niggles or anything. So if Tanaka and Bijol come in next game, no problem with that. And against someone like Burnley, then maybe that's the time to start them, as long as they don't get injured on international duty. Let's hope. It's always the way. That'll be scary bit now once internationals are on.
Touching all the wood to make sure they all come back in one piece. We can't afford any more injuries. Paul, there's added context to this as well, because this is a World Cup year. There's an awful lot more pressure on a lot of players who'll be looking, that have one eye at the end of the season, and I have to be playing to be on the squad, but I have to be playing regularly to be in the team. Mm-hmm. When we get to the States for the World Cup, Isaac Schmidt understood that, and he went off to Werder Bremen to play regularly so he could get in the Swiss squad, and people are doing this. So it's understandable these questions will be asked of these players. I think both of them have answered them relatively politically in the right way, basically saying, yeah, look, and I think it'd be worse if the answer they gave to, you're not playing right now, how do you feel? Yeah, I'm fine about that. I'd be far more worried about that.
Oh yeah, no, of course you would. And I get that with it being a World Cup year. I get that they, you need to show that's one of the worst jokes ever.
Awesome. I'm having that. That one.
Jerry's writing that down.
I expect that on X in the morning, Jerry.
Yes.
But yeah, look, they answered the questions absolutely fine. People will always read into anything however they want it to be. They will make up however they want to make up about it. the title of the video the little short that I did today was "Be All Unhappy." Why? Because it gets clicks, and then you explain yourself in the stories. It moves on. Of course you do. That's the nature of the thing. But what doesn't help is when people try to then say that there's discourse within the squad and this, that, and the other, and just to create that narrative. Because make no mistake about it, there are people out there sat in whatever world it is that they sit in that are absolutely chomping at the bit for something to go wrong at Leeds United. And I'm talking fans of Leeds United here, to be able to go, see, I told you so. And that's what people are looking for at the moment. And it's the right response. It's the politically correct response. It's the response that they will get a text message from Farker or the PR people at Leeds United going, well done. That was really well done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. The under-21 is currently 2-0 down after half an hour against Fleetwood. The difference between under-21 football and grown men at any level is showing it. Also, Rory Mahady is not on the team today. Very confusing situation with him because he's on loan at Scunthorpe, but yet played for the under-21s during the week and is now not on the team again this week. So apparently a youth loan can play for their parent club and the other club. He is also on international duty this week, which is probably more confusing again because he's supposed to be away with Scotland's under-21s. It's a very confusing situation, but it is what it is. Real quick update before we get into the Elland Road stuff before we wrap up. Harry Gray, according to sources, has agreed a deal with Leeds United for his first professional deal, which will be a 2-year deal. Well time, Paul. And that will be announced next week when he turns 17 years of age. But according to the boot room, done, dusted, all sorted. Everyone's very, very happy. So we can look forward to that. He can only sign a 2-year deal as a 17-year-old. That's the max they're allowed to sign. When he turns 18, they'll put him likely in a 5-year deal then and protect the asset, if you want to label it that way, for a little bit longer. Some other news that popped up over the course of the week, and people have been asking for a little bit more clarity on that, is the changes to the Elland Road development plan. And I've got a couple of notes to bring people because there was a lot of questions around this after we covered it during the week. So Leeds have changed their architect from the guys that designed this beauty over here, which the more I look at it and the more I look at Anfield, the more I realize it actually doesn't look anything like Anfield.
It's so
nice, isn't it?
It's so. The reason why people say it looks like Anfield is because of the top sections, the railing at the top. That's why. Yeah,
outside that, actually, it's not that similar at all. And the brickwork design is becoming far more commonplace with new stadium designs. It seems to be quite a lot of them everywhere. But Leeds have changed their architect from a group called KSS, who did the initial designs, into a new company, giving them to a new company called BDP, who have a couple of arms. They have a global network, but they also have a base in Yorkshire and in Leeds, which is part of the reason why they've given it to them. So the reasons for the change are detailed development from the technical drawings to delivery. So from the initial architectural phase, these guys will now be involved in taking those designs, turning them to technical drawings, and then delivering that into an actual physical building. There'll be detailed plans for the north and west stand beyond creative designs. There's a studio based in Leeds, so they will have boots on the ground and will be involved in the day-to-day running of the operation. Their goal, they claim their goal is to create a legacy, whatever that means. Everyone's creating legacies nowadays. But they will be consulting with fans and fan groups throughout the process as well. And BDP chosen for their expertise in bringing projects into real life and the fact that they've got local representation as well. And I'll show you a couple of the other designs. Jerry, you're in the construction business, aren't you?
Yes, well, yeah. I want a piece of this. Yeah, hope I
yeah, commonplace at this point to change architects, or would that be unusual?
Well, I suppose it's, from what I've heard, the planners wanted a local architects on board. I mean, I don't know much about these guys, but and it's probably whether they can take it forward technically, because you got the concept here and it's just down to the detail. They do mention consultation with the fans. I hope it's not similar to the one with the badge, but that's just an aside.
Imaginary fans.
But what I like about this, it's not, I mean, you can look at 20 grounds in the Football League and the Premier League, and they're all Leicester, Derby, they're all bowls, standard identikit. This looks special. It looks like it'll still be Elland Road, an updated Elland Road, and a unique Elland Road. So look forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage this, because I sit in the West Stand, so we've been told we've got to temporary place, and there's going to be a bridge across to get us into the ground, and it's going to be up and then build under. And that's going to be the part. So 2 or 3 years of disruption, and where we end up and how much it costs. Because there was a survey done last year, all the fans, and most of it seemed to say, what would you be willing to pay for tickets? And you think, here we go. But
exactly what I'm paying right now, but probably a bit less.
Yeah, a lot more than what we're paying now. But it looks great, yeah, and it'll get rid of the Ken Bates mark of his corporate frontage, and it'll be exciting, and hopefully we're on the pitch to do that. But 50,000 in Elland Road, it's mad, isn't it? Isn't that what it'll be? 50, 55, and you see Everton's ground, and it's hard for them to leave Goodison and what have you, but it looks fantastic, and the atmosphere there as well is good. So, and there it is there. I'm glad they're not putting a roof on it, because I want wet days at Elland Road. Definitely. That's Saturday.
You don't want to lose the feel of the place, do you?
That's what football's all about. Yeah. I'll be interested. It'll be interesting to see all the detail, what they've got there. I'm really glad to see a small thing that they've got somewhere for the mascots to change, because they're usually having to bump into any small room or anything, or change on the pitch or whatever. So I'm glad they're getting somewhere nice to change the mascots. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. It's how it goes. It's about keeping it in budget as well. We spoke about it, in budget and on time. Because it's funny. I remember Chelsea nearly went bust because of their £2 million stand in the 70s. That's when you realise what difference in the money now. But yeah, look at all that frontage and everything. It's great. Yeah, but I still hope they've got the hut at the front opposite the chip shop. That needs to stay. That's a monument.
The old ticket office.
Yeah, and the need to as well look at honouring the old players. We haven't got enough stands to name everybody after, but there needs to be taught about how to do statues.
A walk of fame, Jerry.
There needs to be a walk of fame.
A walk of fame with statues of players throughout the year would be lovely.
Yes, that's brilliant. And a museum, all that history. There needs to be all that's small. It's smaller stuff, but all that needs to be taken in, and that's what big clubs do. We're a big club, and we need to show that after all the pain and suffering the last 25 years. That's the sort of thing that shows, because we got a lot of bloody history.
Yeah, there is a museum in it, I believe, from what I heard.
And there should be
there. The main stand, we won the biggest in the UK. It'll hold 17,750, which is impressive.
And there should be a walk of shame of bad referees. Ray Tinkler, there should be the referee at 75. Franz Beckenbauer in there.
The Enoch Shawamni walk of shame.
Yeah, I'd put wasn't McKinney. I'd put Declan Rice in there as well, and Thierry Henry. If I'm designing it, and if they need input into it, I'm happy to for a small fee tell them all about that.
Isn't one of the other reasons why the local firm have been selected as well, because they've also got the experience in regeneration within particular areas as well, haven't they? They've got an actual good track record of being able to do that.
They do, and I want to actually, if I can find that real quick, I'll show you. There we go. I'll throw this up on screen real quick and give you an idea, because this is the wider expansion. I'll come back to this in a second. I'll show you what BDP have actually made as a company as well, because it is important. But what Jerry's saying about it, one of the main reasons they've been selected is they've got a track record of delivering projects on time and on budget, which is hugely important from Leeds. This is the wider regeneration project, so you can have a little look at it here. So it's if you're Elland Road Stadium here in the middle, but then you've got all of these new buildings around the area as well, which are all being brought in. Pete Lowy's family firm are involved in this as well. They've obviously got experience in this as well. So you're looking at shop fronts, bars, clubs, all that kind of stuff to make it its own little hub. Leeds' goal is to make sure when you go to the stadium for a match day that you stay in the area after the match and you spend your money in that part of Leeds, where the club can benefit from the revenue from that as well. So yeah, that's the reason. So there you go, Paul.
Thank you. It does look nice. It does look nice. This is the thing that's good. I mean, there might be flats there, like you said. There'll be shops, there'll be bars, there'll be restaurants, there'll be all sorts of stuff. And the thing is for it to be that type of match day. Oh, look at that! Like match day experience for people to come and experience a full day. Yes, it's very Americanized in terms of the way that it is, but it's going to bring revenue into the stadium, which is what we need. The other thing, as West Yorkshire has pointed out in the comments, there is the tram link. there needs to be a trampoline
yes.
sorted out. That has to be done and sorted out to get
counties and councils are very much on board with that.
Yeah, they were very much on board with it 20 years ago as well. So hopefully they'll
That is fair.
they'll be properly on board with it this time.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. I do want to show just even an example of what BDP have delivered in the past. So obviously, Bramley Docker is referred to as the Hill Dickinson Stadium. They were involved in bringing this in from its original designs into fruition as well. And by all accounts, speaking to Everton fans, the atmosphere is incredible in the stadium. Yeah. They love it. They absolutely love what they've gotten. Looks like a spaceship sitting on the dock to me. It's a beautiful looking stadium as well. And again, has that brick facade around the outside of it as well. That's, as I said, become more commonplace. That's the inside of the Hill Dickinson. It's a beautiful stadium. I mean, it really is a lovely stadium. It's very open, but it's the roof is what keeps the atmosphere in and makes it loud, and that bowl effect, which is brilliant to see. They're also involved in this bad boy, and I'll let this play and show you. This is, if I can get it to work. There we go. This is I have it written down somewhere. Al Rayyan Stadium in Qatar. It's a fully sustainable stadium that was built for the World Cup in Qatar. This is one of the air-conditioned stadiums, but they were involved in bringing this, again, they actually designed this and built this as well, a part of the architecture firm involved in the building of this. So that gives you an idea of some of the projects. There's other ones as well. This was the original concept design. I'll show you what it looks like in reality once they had it finished. So there you go. And I'll skip this nice little tram link by the outside of that one, Paul. Hopefully we get that as well. That's what it looks like in reality now, which is a beautiful stadium as well. Mm-hmm. Did a cracking up job. Again, there's a similarities there in the overhang on the roof to keep the atmosphere in the stadium, which is a huge part of that. The Xuyuan Stadium also was one of their designs as well. Beautiful stadium on the waterfront there that they did as well. And they've done Tottenham Hotspur's new sustainable training ground with a grass roof on it for eco reasons. Apparently one of the best installations you can get is actually putting grass on your roof rather than insulation on your roof. So they've been involved in all those projects. So it's a company that have been labeled as having a very strong track record in delivering these projects. So all going well, the shovels will go into the ground. We should know in the next 7 to 10 days what the decision is from Leeds County Council, whether it's got full approval or not. At that point, it then moves to the next phase of work. And then by the end of this season, the plan is shovels in the ground at the end of the season in order to start work on this. The development will be built around Elland Road so that it won't reduce the capacity of the stadium for the first couple of seasons anyway. There'll be a small reduction at some point. The housing of away fans in the South Stand, which is a contentious issue, is a temporary thing to move people around, but that's coming later in the day. But yeah, all around, there's some more news on this. It's great to see the development, but Jerry, you're a regular goer all the time. They've talked an awful lot about maintaining that atmosphere in Elland Road. It seems to be at the forefront of this design and what this company is doing.
Yeah, it was very important we maintain the peacock and the chipper and that little corner shop where I get me sweets. That they've got to remain. But you ever look at Man City's, the Etihad around there. I mean, what the regeneration has done to that particular area in Manchester is absolutely fantastic. So I'd like to reduce the car parking, and I would like if the guy who I pay next week doesn't give me a Scottish £10 note back. That'll be one of my criteria. £10 note, Scottish, cheeky bug. Anyway, but yeah, the parking's gone up from 6 to 12 quid in 2 seasons. So more parking. The tram, very important. And yeah, when you come to Elland Road, yes, you've got the peacock, brilliant, fantastic, great atmosphere, but there's not much else around there. And on a day like Saturday, you want to be able to go jump in somewhere, or even before the game, go somewhere where you can keep dry and warm. We won't need aircon in the stadium. I think we'll save a few quid on that. But I think it's all very exciting, and it's sport. We deserve. So think back, not that many seasons ago, our screen didn't work and the top of the stand wasn't open. So we've come a fair way. So it's all exciting, and this seems as real. There's been a few false dawns in the last 20, 30 years, but this feels real and feels like it's going to happen. And this is our forte. The 49ers is building stadium, doing this stuff. So if we're 50, 60,000 pounds, what is the capacity? Is it 55,000? Is it? I can't remember. Whatever it is.
5,700.
56. We're 56.
The maximum capacity.
And we'll sell that 56,000. And in the Premier League, it's living the dream, isn't it? Yeah, we will go back and win that European Cup for the second time when we're doing that.
Let's go. Yeah. We're actually going to talk about the European Cup this week with Jerry McDermott is coming on to talk about the Bayern Munich game in a bit more detail from way back when, because there's a documentary coming out this weekend in Leeds about that cup final as well. So we're going to talk about that later in the week. All of our great post. Thanks very much for this. The Hill Dickinson Stadium recorded the loudest recorded moment at the weekend when Jack Grealish scored 159 decibels. So again, that just leans
my
into.
house.
Do you know, I was doing a bit this morning, Jerry, on Jonathan Douglas. He was gone back playing GAA in his local town in Clare. But what I didn't realise when I was looking it up and getting some detail on was Jack Grealish played for Warwickshire GAA and scored a point in Croke Park as well, which would be an interesting quiz question for the Irish lads in the future.
As did one of Oasis as well. But yeah, he played right up in GAA and up through the Irish up to under 21s. Of course, yes, that's why. Of course, he declared for England. But anyway, we're not going to go into that today. Yeah,
I just want us to have an improved PA system, so it doesn't. Yes. Hang on a second. So it's not, you're not sat with it just like
your train station job.
Yeah.
What platform am I leaving from? What platform?
Yeah. No, you don't hear much.
Sort it out.
Yeah.
Just that, it's not difficult.
Yeah. Frederick came with Grealish and Rice, my two Irish guys, two favourite players. Yeah, I know. Yeah, same as.
Yeah.
I don't mind Declan Rice as much. I don't mind either too many more because they said nice things and I'm like, fine, whatever. But
somebody just mentioned in the comments as well, Joe, with them actually looking to do something to the south stand. The only thing that they can realistically do to the south stand is the viewing deck, which is behind the lower section of seating, is to reinstall the seating back into that just to increase the capacity. But they can't move it backwards because of the road and the fact that it's a residential area there as well. So that's the only thing realistically that they can do.
I'm looking. Vicente Calderon Stadium, so Atletico Madrid's old stadium, famously had one of their stands going over a road. So the road went under the stand, like a tunnel.
Yeah.
So they might have to be creative about it or go very steep. But yeah, I
remember
there's no way that they don't plan on developing that.
The train used to go under Lansdowne Road. You used to be sitting in the stand and you'd feel it rocking, didn't you? Yeah. So
they might do what they did at Lansdowne Road. Actually, the Aviva Stadium, one end of the ground is just a glass wall because the houses were right up against it. And they refused to move, so they basically just shortened the seats and put a big glass wall in. So they can get creative and they can get designy with it and see what they come out with. But yeah, it's interesting and it's exciting, and it'll be great for the city, it'll be great for Leeds, it'll be great for everybody. Just again, that atmosphere, but more of it would be fantastic. And hopefully by then we're still playing Premier League football. But we'll wind it down there. 52 minutes of a stream I didn't think we'd get to, but there you go. Paul, what's going on at your channel this week before we wrap it up?
Lots of shorts, unless I decide to do a video. I might even do a live at some point this week as well. We will wait and see. If I do a live, because I've been shouted at before for doing a live and not saying anything about it, I will put information out about the fact that I'm going to be doing a live. So yeah, other than that, just shorts, little snippets of news that I might get. I'll just pump them out onto TikTok and onto YouTube as well, just to keep the algorithm running over and moving over and everything, all that kind of stuff. But that's about it, really.
Great, Jerry. What about you? What's going on with you this week?
I'm off to Lisbon on Friday to see Ireland beat Portugal. Yeah, it's 28 degrees over there. I'm thinking I'll have to take a waterproof. Now, hang on a second, it's somewhere over there. So we got to win this one. Jesus.
We have to win this one, Jerry.
And we got Armenia on show. I'm not going to Dublin for Armenia, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've not been to Lisbon before, and it's a tall order. But you know yourself, when you go on away Ireland trips, they're an event, and the match sort of comes along, and so I'm really looking forward to doing that. And we're realistic, and that World Cup in America looks boring anyway. It's too much mess.
Never wanted to go anyway, Jerry. Didn't want to go to America.
I think it's great we're boycotting it over the refusal to show Riverdance in all major cities. I think it's a good move,
especially not at £1,200 a ticket either. By the way,
no. I'm not traveling all right. Nah, it's not for us, but it'll be good. Sammy Schmodek's interesting. What a player he was last season. Plays for Ipswich, gets injured, plays for Ipswich, and always misses out. So I think Sammy, you may be coming to we're seeing through you at the minute. So that's the little
there's a pattern to it, isn't there? Yeah. If you are interested in a Leeds connection to this, because he absolutely ran the show against Ireland in the last international break, is Edward Spurgeon, who again is continuously being linked with a move to Leeds. He absolutely destroyed Ireland pretty much on his own in the away game in Armenia. So if you want to see what he's like, keep an eye on the Ireland-Armenia fixture this week as well. So you'll definitely see Edward Spurgeon in action. Very, very good. And he wasn't even playing as a 10, he was playing as an 8.
if there's any comments you want me to shout at Ronaldo, I'm happy to do so. Yeah,
all of them.
I'll just say,
All of them.
all right, Ronnie, how's it going? Great, well played. Yeah,
Ask him if he's been to
he scored
America.
twice.
Ask him if he's
in
been
the
to
last
America
minute.
recently, and ask him how he gets on with border control at America.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm going to qualify. Yeah, because anyway, yeah,
Yes, that's a longer podcast for a different day, a different channel.
That's an off-stream conversation, that isn't it? Sorry,
it is. Yeah, folks, we'll wrap it up there. Massive thanks to Jerry and to Paul as always for joining us. Really enjoyed this one tonight. You can check out today's news video if you wanted. That would be great. Tomorrow we're back in the morning again. But if you want some details on what's going on with UEFA and Premier League clubs playing games away from outside of the UK, you can check out the detail in there. It's an interesting topic that will likely evolve over the next couple of months and years as well. So you can check that out. Outside that, I will see you in the morning. Go check Paul out. Details down below as well. And Jerry and I will be back tomorrow morning for your news. See you then. Talk to you. Bye.